G'day, welcome to the Predator mask build. This one's a nice, really simple one. For those that love the Predator, I managed to get this simple, easy STL file, really simple and fast. I've also managed to do it in a complete print without those that need to break it up if you have a larger printer, or if you need to break up into a smaller plate, you can do with these. I'll show you how I'll join them so we have a finish like that, and then to the actual finish with, a lot of you will be familiar with the graphite powder, but I'm going to do a little twist with a rub and buff too, just to show you just how easy something simple as this can save you a lot of time. And yeah, it's very straightforward. So join me as we go from these to this. Come along. Okay, we've done the sanding. We've only done two grits. I did an 80 grit, and then a 220, 240. We don't really need that really glass finish, because obviously Predator is a bit roughed, a bit manly, but the surface I need doesn't need to be 100% smooth. However, I do have a few more intricate areas I have to use my Dremel to get into. Won't take long, and I want to try and crack on today because it's in the afternoon, and I want to get a layer of primer down before we're through, and then we'll look at the different ways of joining this. Righto, let's join this thing. Now there's a few ways of doing this. Blade putty, I suppose to a lot of people it's equivalent to the Bondo. A two-part epoxy. Wood filler, I've used this a few times actually, it's quite good. But I use this if I've got quite a big gap to bridge, because I can work with it and mould it and then sand it back. Normal super glue. And slurry, that's made up of acetone and leftover bits of filament from your support. So you throw that into there, you add your acetone depending on how thick or thin you want it. And I'm actually going to go this way today because I've had a few people ask me, I want to see a bit more of this. So it's a good cost-effective way. It can be just as strong as glue for holding it together, and also your layer lines. So when we put these together, layer lines, your joining lines. So when we join these together, you're going to have that prominent line there. So you can use this to go over it as well. So this is where it acts as two parts. It acts as a joiner and a filler. It's awesome. It's very versatile. What was I thinking? You could use is UV resin. But this is instant. I'm going to keep away from this today. So obviously you put the UV on top, it's very quick, you cure it with the UV light, that hardens it, and you sand it straight away. So that is your slurry.
before I join this part to here, I've got to make some room for the LEDs. So it's very small, so I'm going to have to drill out to fit these lights in. So I'm going to go to a 6mm.
Okay, just a reminder, in my haste of trying to speed through and catch some sunlight, I've just given myself a headache. When I went to drill, I lost concentration for a moment, and I've come right out the side of the helmet and put a nice hole. Just what I needed. Not. So, can I repair this? We shall find out. So this again is going to put the slurry to the test, and let's see if I can salvage this. Right. Actually, it's going to need more than a brush. Just put a little bit around the edges there. Good one. I don't have to try and bridge it a bit at a time, because that's a massive cavity in there. Another blooper, because now that's going to interfere with the wiring that I try and send through behind it, because I've got loose slurry everywhere in there. Wouldn't bother. Alright, so it's had 12 hours to cure. Quite hard, not ideal, so I'll have to sand that back, but it's better than having a hole. This here will obviously need sanding back, but I'm not really happy with the strength of the joins, so I'm going to put some hot staples in just to reinforce that. Yeah, it won't take long, but it's just an extra added benefit. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so with the hot staple, simple. We put the staple in like so. Maybe not so simple. There we go. So we find the line where we want to reinforce. So in this particular case, I'm going in between the two. Press the trigger. When you go in, stop, turn, and that helps locks it in. So we just want to make sure that we don't press too hard and put another hole in the helmet and go through the other side. And just another tip, when removing the staples, quite often you see people get a pair of snips like so, and they go in right to the base, and then they press down, but you're still going to have a little nub. So the best way I've found is you just push it backwards and forwards. I should have some gloves on, which I will do. And what happens is it breaks off and there's no nub at all, so you don't risk scratching yourself and having that sharp bit sticking out. So it's just a case of working backwards and forwards, left to right, bang, it's out, and yeah, nice and smooth. So yeah, happy days moving forward. Okay, priming stage. I'm after a primer filler. This is an automotive one. Not bad, quick drying time, really good, excellent to sand, very good for prepping. It can go thick or thin, but obviously I'm going to thin it out with an acrylic thinner. I'm going to apply this with a spray gun with a 1.4mm nozzle, along with a reservoir to collect the water from the hose that builds up from your compressor. Highly recommend to use a filter, which is in there already. I'm going to use 100ml of primer to 50ml of thinner. That should be more than enough for these two preps of the helmet. Looks about right. Taxi. Give it a fairly good mix. We want that nice optimization when we spray onto that helmet, and a good coverage. So we don't want any runs, but then we don't want it too dry and thick either. So that's not a bad consistency. It's running off the paddle pop nice and easy. It's not too thick, so that should go well. I hope my mask survived. Okay, let's head outside. The prime's had time to cure, so we're going to give it a quick sand. Not too bad. I don't have to go too aggressive on the sanding. I think it's come up not too bad at all. But I just want to take a few tops off it. It's a little bit rough. I just want to have it nice and smooth. Not too smooth, because I obviously want the paint to have a good contact to it. But we just want to get those little minor imperfections out of there. Righto, let's get into sanding. I'm going to start off with a 800, 1000, and if it needs to, maybe a 2000. Okay, now we come to the paint. Very straightforward, pretty much the same mirror setup as last time in regards to the prime. It'll be a 1.4mm with the gun. I'm going to go about 100, maybe 120mm with the paint, and the same with the thinner again with 50mm. So that's pretty much it. Rinse, wash, repeat. I don't need too much more. I'm not going after a high gloss black. I just want that nice tidy gloss, so hence not so much. So let's mix it up. Oh, messy. Yeah, that's about the 50. Give that a nice mix. We want to have it nicely atomized. Alright, so the paint's had time to cure, so we're going to apply the rub and buff and graphite powder. But before we do that, gloves, because until it's cured, everything that you touch here from your skin, the oils, it'll come through and reflect on the finish. But having said that, I'm wearing these thicker gloves because I'm going to be cutting in fly screen just behind the eyes to complete the process of when I get to the eyes, because I'm going to have lights in the eyes. So yeah, I'm going to hot glue these in, and then we'll go to applying the graphite and the rub and buff. So I've pre-cut this template out, and I'll do the same with that, and I'll attach it with some hot glue. Another reason why I'm using hot glue is because when this cures, it puts a bit of a protection around where I've cut, where it's coarse, and you don't have those barbs showing. So this will do two actions: obviously hold the netting in place, and then just to protect your face and around your eyes. Also a good idea too, while this has not been cured or sealed, to have something nice and fluffy to protect the paintwork. Right, you can see that's in there now. It's not too bad, it's got a fairly good tension on it. And we've covered up the parts that may scratch a person, just to be on the safe side. I was thinking, like I mentioned before, about putting a face shield across there on the black, but then thought it might look a bit weird when the light's not on. So I don't know, I might change it, but at this stage I've had a change of mind and I'm going to leave it all clear. So then that way, when we turn this on, yeah, it looks a little bit neater. So there we go, that's all glued in now. So we're going to put in the lasers. So that was where I drilled through and straight out the other side. Well done. But yeah, it's passable, it's fixed now. So all right, let's put these side lights on. So these are the side lights. Unfortunately there's only 2 in a pack, so I'm going to have to use a 2-pack for a 3 light. Very straightforward. That's how they are. 1 on, 2 you can have them on timer, and then obviously off. So I'm going to mount this at the back, so I can still get in easily and access the batteries when the time comes. So the thing is getting these through the side and out to the front here. Happy days. Come on, play the game. There you go. Play the game. A bit more, come on. Nice. So what I'm thinking is I'm just going to hold that in with a little bit of glue. Alright, I think I had luck with 1 light. So this could take me forever. It's not going to make a difference because on this helmet you can see this is exposed on the side there. So you can see there it's exposed. So I'm just going to cut this because it's going to take forever and a day. Yeah, definitely. I think that was a good call to cut that, because it would have been there for a while. So that's the lights put in for now. Looks like the mad scientist. So now that that's put back in, I can now put the supporting head cap back on. So when the wearer wears this, obviously you've got something to sit on. But yeah, I snapped that off so I could do some work, but I'll glue that back in. And that's the same with here, the other helmet, mask. But yeah, so it won't be long, we'll get into this one, and then we'll get into the good stuff of applying the graphite and the rub and buff. All right, let's get into it. Fairly basic, very straightforward. That allows us to replace the batteries easily enough. I'm now going to put the supporting cap height adjuster back on. I broke that off so I could work, and same as the other helmet, I'll put that back on. So the batteries are all accessible, the switch is accessible, the battery can get changed out through here. So very straightforward, so I'll glue that back on. So there you can see we've now glued in the extra lightings for the laser and for the eyes. So yeah, straightforward. Put the head bracket back on, and then we can attach the mask via the straps when we're ready. So that's pretty much it. Right, so now we come to adding the graphite powder and the rub and buff. So let's see how we go. So when adding the graphite powder, there's a few different options you can do. I personally prefer to use one of these squeegee makeup spongy balls. You can also use cotton balls, and you can just use also a nice good microfiber cloth. All will give you a good result, but I like this because it's easy to apply. I can roll, see where it is. I don't have to go in circular motion so much. So yeah, so that's how you apply those. So that's the graphite powder that I use. It's quite popular. I do have a half kilo bucket over there. Yeah, but this does go on quite easily, and it'll last you for quite a while. You see how easily it goes on with this makeup ball. If you can see, but it's very, very fine. So that's what I mean, where a little bit goes quite a long way. In regards to weathering, very easy to weather up. Just a case of a little bit of black, brown paint, grey paint, whatever your preference is. Mix it all together, and then you can dab it on and off. So like this mask, it's nice and easy. It's got some nice indentations in here, not a lot, but enough to give it that Predator look. So if you wanted to make this silver again, you would then seal it and then put another coat, pardon me, of graphite on, just to build your layers up, so on, so on, so on. So next, a little bit of rub and buff. A little bit of this goes a long way. I always thought that this was a paste. I've been corrected since, and it's actually wax. So probably why it spreads so well. I'm going to apply this with a brush. You can use a microfiber cloth, and there's a few different ways, but I think the brush is a little bit nicer with a slight finish. And if you go with the what do you call the grooves. So after you've painted the rub and buff on, now comes the buff, rub and buff, paint and buff. Anyway, anywho, as houses, it's time to buff it to bind it all together, because when you paint it on, I find it spreads a lot more, cover a lot more real estate, ground, and then this blends it all back together. So you get another one of these makeup balls, and we just give that a rub in, like so. And we blend it all together, and you get that nice matte chromey look, but not too chromey. Because you see the Predator, you have a few different variants. It's either really clean, dirty, but generally a darker look. But I've gone for the cleaner look here. I think in Predator 2 in the city it was a bit cleaner, where the jungle it was a bit more obviously dirty. And buffing it in too, it's less likely to transfer onto your fingers until you decide to seal it. Well, that brought us to the end of the little Predator build. Nice and quick, easy, couple of variations. Which one do you reckon? The darker graphite or the lighter rubber and buff? A couple of easy options to have a fairly good result with at the end. A bit of fun. The lighting, I thought the green with the dark, gold with the silver. So again, thanks for joining me for this quick and simple, easy build. I've got some exciting things coming through, so yeah, tune into those. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.